Cleopatra, one of the most famous queens in history. She had beauty, brains, and enough ambition to make even Julius Caesar do a double take. But despite all her talents, her reign ended in tragedy. One moment she's ruling Egypt, the next she's dead in a mausoleum, and Egypt's just another Roman province. So what went wrong?
Welcome to Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda, where we talk about what should've, could've, and would've been done to avoid the catastrophe we're about to see.
Cleopatra clearly ignored all the warning signs and ended up paying the ultimate price. Let's start with Cleopatra's biggest strength and weakness at the same time, her political savvy. Cleopatra wasn't just a pretty face, she was a master strategist. When her brother Ptolemy XIII tried to oust her from power, she teamed up with Julius Caesar, seduced him, allegedly, and secured her throne. Smart move, right? Sure, but it came with a price. By aligning herself so closely with Caesar, Cleopatra tied her fate to his. And we all know what happened to Caesar. Check the Caesar episode here. When Caesar was assassinated, Cleopatra lost her most powerful ally. Lesson 1. Diversify your alliances. Putting all your eggs in one Roman basket, not the best idea. After Caesar, Cleopatra didn't waste any time with the bounce-back relationship. Enter Mark Antony, Caesar's former general and one of Rome's most powerful men. Cleopatra charmed him too, and together they formed an alliance that was equal parts romance and political strategy. But here's the thing. Antony was in a power struggle with Octavian, Caesar's heir. By siding with Antony, Cleopatra essentially declared war on Octavian, and spoiler, Octavian won. Could Cleopatra have played it differently? Absolutely. She could have stayed neutral, kept her distance from Rome's internal drama, and focused on strengthening Egypt. But Cleopatra loved a gamble, and this one didn't pay off. Cleopatra wasn't just a queen of Egypt. She was a PR disaster in Rome. Romans saw her as a foreign temptress, someone who corrupted their leaders and threatened their republic. She didn't exactly have the best image in Rome. Take the donations of Alexandria, for example. No, not the kind of donations you're thinking of. Cleopatra and Antony declared that their children would be given vast territories to rule, including parts of Rome's own empire. To the Roman Senate, this was the ultimate insult. Cleopatra should have kept a lower profile. Instead, she doubled down, feeding into Octavian's propaganda machine. Lesson 2. If you're dealing with a superpower, maybe don't antagonize them. Now, let's talk about Cleopatra's biggest mistake, the Battle of Actium. In 31 BC, Cleopatra and Antony faced off against Octavian in a massive naval battle which would change the history of the Eastern Mediterranean. Historians agree, Cleopatra's decision to bring her fleet was risky. When the tide turned against them, Cleopatra fled with her ships, leaving Antony's forces in chaos. Was it a tactical retreat or a moment of panic? We'll never know, but either way, it sealed their fate. Lesson 3. If you're going to fight Rome, make sure you're fully prepared, or maybe don't fight Rome at all. After Actium, Cleopatra and Antony retreated to Alexandria, hoping for a miracle. But miracles were in short supply. Octavian's forces closed in, and Antony, believing Cleopatra was dead, took his own life. Cleopatra followed soon after, reportedly using a venomous asp. Here's the shoulda, coulda, woulda. Cleopatra could have surrendered. Octavian might have spared her life to parade her in his triumph back in Rome. Humiliating? Sure. But it would have kept her alive, and maybe even given her a chance to rebuild. Instead, Cleopatra chose death over defeat. So, why did Cleopatra's story end the way it did? Historians point to several factors. Her reliance on powerful Roman men made her vulnerable when those alliances fell apart. Her bold moves, like the donations of Alexandria, alienated Rome, and her gamble on Antony was a high-stakes play that didn't pan out. But let's not forget, Cleopatra was playing a nearly impossible game. Egypt was a rich, strategically important kingdom, and Rome was an unstoppable force. Even the smartest moves might not have saved her. Cleopatra's story is one of ambition, intelligence, and ultimately tragedy. Could she have kept her throne? Maybe. By staying neutral, building alliances beyond Rome, and avoiding high-profile power plays, she might have prolonged her reign. But hindsight's 20/20, right? Cleopatra played the cards she was dealt, and while she lost the game, she secured her place in history as one of the most iconic figures of all time. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment about which historical disaster we should regret together next. Adios,